What's up, peeps? Calvin Gohard Rashard. I'm here with my buddy Donald Wayne Thompson of Joshua House, his Joshua House out here in Kingsland, Texas. And they've got an amazing event coming up. And just want to share with you guys and also just share a little bit about what's going on in the community and what's going on. Oh, 1 second. I got to get my thing, the volume off. 1 second, guys. Get a little echo. So anybody can do this and do it correctly or correctly. And boom. Okay. There it is. So anybody can do this. Just letting you know, you can mess up and do things like this and make it happen too. So anyway, by the way, tell me a little about what your story, your journey, even with why you even got to this point of where we're at with the Joshua House. So tell a little bit about your story, sir.
So my name is Donald Wayne Thompson. I'm a recovering alcoholic and drug addict who hasn't had drink or drugs since September 16th, 2018, and I'm forever grateful for that. I was born and raised here in Marble Falls, come from an exceptional family, no childhood issues, just a good, normal hometown kid. Got into drinking in high school, which ultimately led to me getting into harder drugs, methamphetamine in particular. Within a year of trying meth, I was kicked out of athletics and ultimately school. I was on the age of 17 at that time, and that was the beginning of almost a 20-year journey. In my addiction and alcoholism, which led to, the vast majority of those 20 years spent from jails to prisons to mental institutions and county jails. Never having any luck being sober when leaving those places until I got to the Joshua House in September of 2018, and that was the last day I had drink or drug. I stayed at the Joshua House and went through the program there as a resident for a little over 6 months, and left there with in the best shape I've ever been in my life.
When you say the best shape, you talking physically, mentally, what do you?
Physically, mentally, most importantly, spiritually. I got to the house, and I don't know if I was agnostic or atheist or just mad at God. It's something that I struggle with. I've never had much of a church upbringing. It was just something that I never did early on in life, and then when I got into my addiction, it was definitely something I didn't spend much time on. Ultimately, the program at the Joshua House, through a 12-step program and lots of Christian religious counseling and Bible studies and teachings, brought me to know God, understand God, and remove a lot of the misconceptions I had of that. I got to Joshua House. I talked about being, not believing God or incredibly mad at God. And one of it was just things. I think I reflected a lot of my issues and my blame onto something else. God's kind of the easy way to do that sometimes. You don't get any physical kickback, doing that. And so that was where a lot of my own thoughts was projected on.
Something I want to go into, you mentioned earlier. First of all, if you guys are watching this live, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. If you have any questions for myself or for Donald Wayne, drop in the comments to everybody. Let us know here. Well, hi in there in the YouTube land. But you said something that you came from a really not good household, and sometimes we think that in drug addiction, alcoholism, or any of those things come from houses that are broken and in a bad area or bad community or lawlessness or whatever it may be. But you said you came from a stable household.
Absolutely. Yeah, I had, I never wanted. We weren't just wealthy, but I never wanted for anything growing up. I had a very loving father. that did everything in the world for me. I was his priority in life. And the being around drugs, I've never even seen drugs. I was against them until the night I tried them, and the alcohol opened the door for that. That's one of the things I've had the opportunity to speak at some schools and speak to kids about the dangers of drug addiction and even alcoholism. I have no problem with anyone that drinks. That's not I'm not against that. But one of the things I warn kids about is we'll make a lot of decisions on alcohol that we wouldn't normally make. Ultimately, that if I had never drank, my life would have been way different. That's what led me into the meth and all the other things that started my life. No, I had a wonderful bringing up.
We talked a little bit about this myself. Like my story is a little different when it comes down to that. I didn't come to Christ until I was 24. My dad actually cocaine and marijuana out of my house. So the embarrassment of my friends knowing my dad was that guy, it actually kept me from drugs. I probably smoked weed 3-4 times ever in my life, but I started drinking at 12. And so I drank enough from 12 to 24 to last a lifetime. So for me, and a lot of times we say, well, I just drink. But in my opinion, the alcohol itself would be just as bad, if not worse. Because I can remember bringing friends, 2 different friends home at different places and getting myself home, and I don't know how I got home. I went to 3 different locations drunk, driving, and don't even know how I got there until I came home Monday. The next Monday, one of my buddies, but 2 of my buddies, thanked me for bringing them home. I don't know how I got home. So I was just as reckless with the alcohol itself, but Donald Wayne is saying is that even that was the gateway. Most people don't just wake up one day and say, you know what, I think I'm going to try some hard drugs today. And as you said, it was like a progression of things that was going on that started from the alcohol, and it was like seeking for the next thing, next high, or whatever it is. And of course, so you had a good household and a loving household itself. What were the influences that actually brought you down that path? I mean, like I said, starting with alcohol.
There was drinking in my household, but it wasn't something that caused a problem. I grew up with my father was just an old cowboy. And that's just kind of part of the culture.
Yeah.
Cowboys drink and they work hard and drink, but it doesn't cause issues, not problems. And so it's I guess it was just influenced by the how I was brought up, but not in a they drank differently than I did. They drank. They may have too many and get intoxicated. They go to bed, get up, go to work. I don't do that. I drink until there's no more, and then go find more, and then don't go to work, wreck cars, and uh, I was I was just built different. I handled my body different. My mind, especially, went different ways than most. That's the difference between a heavy drinker, a social drinker, than an alcoholic. It's like an allergy. When we put it in our body, different things happen than from a normal person.
Right. It's good to recognize, even now, obviously the awareness then would have been something different. Like I have an awareness that I've never been a food casual drinking kind of guy. The same way. I was always, I'm going to get credit. I'm going all out. It was my tradition for New Year's was 2 bottles of champagne at the same time. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it extra. So I had 2 bottles, drink those 2, get another 2, and then by the end of the night, it was basically 6. But I had to have 2 because being extra. And so it wasn't like I'm just going to have a few cash, glasses and be done. So for me, like I said, I haven't drank since 1999. It's the last time I touched alcohol. And for me, it was this thing where I come from a long line of the awareness we're talking about. This is where some of us have to understand awareness. I come from a long line of alcoholics and drug addicts on both sides of my family. So for me, it was a situation of this is in my blood. This is in my genealogy to continue on and do this very excessively. So I basically decided I'm not going to. And so some of us have to have the awareness that, yeah, a few casual may be okay for some person, but not necessarily for us. Well,
yeah, it's funny. I hear people, sometimes they only planned on having a drink or I never planned on a drink or two. Never. That's there's no point in it. For me, so just a different mindset for an alcoholic.
Absolutely. So you're in this program. You said, what was the difference? You've been in other programs, and the Joshua House was different. This is the one that really got you the transformation and change.
So of all the rehabs and communities I've been in over those close to 20 years, I was in a lot of. Joshua House is really unique in all the ones I've been in a lot of different ways. For one, this was the first faith-based recovery home I've ever been in. The rest, they're really good about taking you in, kind of putting you in this lockdown type facility. Maybe not like a fence, but you just don't leave the place. You spend a lot of time. They spend a lot of time educating you about addiction and alcoholism, and they teach you all this good stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm an addict. Knowledge means nothing to me. Feelings is what drives me. A normal person has two choices, and this is the logical choice. This is what's going to help me. This is what's going to be better for me, my family, my business. But me, I look at the two choices, and what drives me is what's going to make me feel the best. So, so those places, I leave there with all this knowledge, but I would still lack, life skills, basic things to, help me live and get by a normal life. I went into Joshua House, no exaggeration. I was 150 pounds. I could not walk. I had $6 to my name and one shoe. I didn't even have a pair of shoes when I got there.
One shoe.
I had one shoe. And didn't have a pair.
That's pretty destitute right there. You only have one shoe.
Yeah. And no driver license, no identification. I was unemployed, unemployable. Was nothing. And if I would have spent 6 months there and just been taught recovery, I would have left there in 6 months. May have a pair of shoes, but I still have no driver license, no job, no way to continue in life efficiently. So that's what we do at the Joshua House. We use the Christian spiritual counseling coupled with the 12-step program to get through the addiction or alcoholism, whichever it may be, or both. And along with that, we set guys up for success afterwards. If we have to take them I had to go get a birth certificate, social security card. I had to retake driving tests. I was provided a vehicle to go take the driving test, and they went with me. I got there with 7 arrest warrants in 3 different counties. And I had Joshua House went with me to face each one of these and walk through them. So I was able to leave there with a clean slate, a job, a bank account. I was set up for success, and understanding my addiction and alcoholism. I had life skills and a way to function and make a life. And that's something I consider myself kind of an expert at rehab because I've been to so many.
Yeah.
But we are blessed to have this in the community. It's amazing what happens there. Our success rate with men successfully completing and stand there a year is phenomenal. I don't know the last numbers I've seen. We were close to like 70% still sober after a year. As of it's kind of hard to tell the national average you go to looking at. Most places really and truly is under 10%.
Wow.
So that's the difference, and that's what set me up for what I have today. I've had multiple opportunities over the years and never made it more than a day or two when leaving those places. And I'm sitting here with September 6 years of sobriety with a better life than I've ever had.
That's amazing. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, just unpacking all that, the differences, well, the recidivism rate and recovery rate, all those things you talk about, was the national average is less than 10%. And you guys, 70% or so where you guys are. And what I'm hearing the difference first of all, obviously grounded in faith. First and foremost, you're grounded in faith. Be ye transformed by the renewal of your mind, coming out of the world, not conform to the world, but the change of mind and heart that God does when you lay these things. Because I know it wasn't in my power at all either. It was me submitting my life to Christ. That was the power of the Holy Spirit walking with us. First and foremost, you said something about it's not just knowledge. You can go place, learn about this information, all versus it being something that is giving you actionable steps. And it sounds like they're equipping you with all the life. Now, here's what addiction is, and this is what it is, and this is what you say no to. That's not like some of these other places are. But here they are, giving you opportunities to grow spiritually and naturally. Because if you look at, in the Bible, God gave man work before he gave him a wife. I'm not no knock at the ladies, no knock at all, but a man can, and even Paul talks about, I'd rather you be single like me, so you can commit your life to the gospel. That's what Paul said. So there's something that man can live without a wife. They have one. I'm not saying that wrong. You can live without a wife, but it's unfulfilling for man to not have purposeful work in their life. And so to get all this stuff cleared away with the legal stuff, to get your driver's license, to get you in a position that you can gain employment, but also have the support to do it. Those are some of the things that naturally and spiritually, I think that what it sounds like these are the things that Joshua House is doing differently. And instead of giving you some information, it's kind of like just going to church and hearing a sermon and then going right back home and no change. Where's the life application? Where are you going to apply this to make it where now you're set up for success? Because if you're cleaning up and there's nothing to go to, it's kind of like a Bible verse where once you clean of all the spirits and the demons come and find there's nothing in there, and it's 7 times worse. So meaning that you've got to fill yourself up with the Word of God. You got to fill yourself up with something purposeful and meaningful to move toward. And that's what it sounds like. Some of the biggest things that are changing in that too as well.
One of the things I talk to them about all the time, Book of James talks about faith without good deeds dead. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the things we instill, talking about just going to church and listening. We bring men into the community with different things. Besides, we get them involved in a lot of community service where they can do good for others and help others. And it's just important. One of our principles in recovery that we can't keep what we have without giving it away. And I left in September, actually moved out of the house, but I've never left being involved in the house. I've sponsored men at the house and just go and hang out with them, go do community service with them, spend time with them, share my story. And I've been there, so I understand. I feel all the struggles, right? And to be able to do that has just been amazing. That's another key, I think, long-term sobriety is staying involved and tied into that.
That's good. And like you said, you left the house but never left the involvement of it. You're moving out and reaching back, helping the next person because you have a level of empathy and compassion that someone outside may not have. Insight, going through the process, being there, and also being a successful graduate, so to speak, from the program. Now getting back into it, and so I got Paula who's commenting right there right now too. So in this community, we have 2 different houses. There's Open Door Recovery is for the women, it's specifically for the women, and it's the same kind of situation, same kind of setup, very similar. They're kind of brother and sister organizations, and not funded by the government, so we can unashamedly stand for Christ in both places. And the Joshua House in Kingsland has the same similar, very similar foundation of those things.
We were modeled. Paula started her house before us. And when ours was started, Paula was instrumental in us starting the men's house. She was, early on. Our house rules, procedures were modeled exactly after them. There may be a few little tweaks, a little different, but they're very, very similar. Their success rate has been amazing, like ours.
Success leaves clues. Somebody who has anything that you're looking to do, whether it's in ministry and business, somebody's probably done it very similar in the avenue where you're going. And so Paula and Open Door Recovery had a success model that they were able to take and implement for the guys. And so that's something that there's usually a coach, a mentor, an organization, a person who's already doing something similar to what you're looking to do. And you can actually learn from them and take that system or the structure or whatever it is that's laying out in front of you, and then model that success from it. So I think that's really good, Paula. I see that. Thank you for joining in with us, Paula. And so from there, now you're going from supporting and sponsoring and things of that sort, and then you sort of get on the board and more involvement. And tell me how that process and led you where you are now.
So I was around 2 years ago. I was asked to come on to the board of directors. I was the first resident to ever come on to the board of directors, and that's a heck of an honor for a guy like me to come in like I did with one shoe, to 4 years later sitting on the board of directors of the place, in my life. I was just overwhelmed with gratitude, for the house for that. And I served on the board. Last year I was elected to the vice president position of the board, served on there for a while. And the beginning of the year, so I was able to be elected, move up to president of the board of directors of the house. Served there gratefully, and an opportunity presented itself where there was an opening at the executive position, and it was something that the board member asked me if I would consider doing, and honestly, I was a little hesitant at first. It just wasn't, something I was grateful for it, but I don't know if I was necessarily hesitant. I think probably after I looked at it, I was shocked that, this is something that I could really do, and
Right.
so I ended up taking the position, and that's where I sit today as executive director. Um, I was honored to serve on the board, really and truly. But this is where I feel like this is really where God wants me. I've been in the trench where these men are right now,
Right.
and uh, I've crawled out of it, with a lot of help. Um, I often say that I owe everything in my life to that house, and I do. And I'm not forgetting about God, but without that house, I would have not found God. That house gave me the knowledge.
The spirit of God was saturated in the house. So you found in the house, you found God too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's why, I have an amazing life today, and it all started in that house today. I overcome my addiction, alcoholism, and most important thing is I came to know God there. And that's the reason I'm truly here today.
Amen. We're glad the community is rich by you being in this position, and it comes with its challenges. It comes with all the new obstacles and things like that. But I believe in the philosophy that schools present opportunities for growth and change, and as you grow and as the house grows and whatnot. So I know. So you're telling me a little bit about how the setup is, like how many guys can be in there, what's the process of what is their waiting list, what does it look like as far as where the house is now, where the vision is to grow.
So our house is in Kingsland. We can house up to 8 men currently, which we are full. And we stay full, and we have a waiting list 364 days a year. I mean, we keep a waiting list. And times, man, it's really heartbreaking. We have people just begging for help a lot of times, and we're full, and we do what we can to help them. Of course, moving them into the house, we're unable to do that. There's such a need for this in our community. Every community anywhere needs this. They reach out. We have through our website, we have an online application. Or I'll meet guys and take them applications if I can. I like doing that. I can visit with them and They apply. Once they apply, we have 3 men that sit on the admissions committee that basically, it's pretty hard to get denied here. If there's any effort put in and a desire
Yeah.
to be clean and sober, we take them in. We can work with anything, if you're just willing to take that first step. We ask for a 90-day commitment. It's not a lot good. You can stay there a day and walk off. We've had that happen before, unfortunately, but it's 90 days to 1 year. In the Joshua House itself, we have additional opportunity after that if needed be. Um, the when they get into the house, the first 2 weeks, they're on what we call sponge mode. They can't go to work. They can't do anything, but basically, they can do 12-step meetings a day for the first 2 weeks. One of the things that I've implemented since being there, we do. We used to do one Bible study a week, and we moved that up to 4. We Bible study Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings. We have prayer and meditation followed by a Bible study. Wednesday mornings, we have an early morning meeting, 12-step meeting. And we're working on implementing more of that. I've been here about 3 or 4 weeks, and so they spend a lot of time the first 2 weeks just at the house. We're volunteering. The Highland Lakes Crisis Network has given us an opportunity for community service work. They were needing some help at the warehouse.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Exactly. Yeah. Uh-huh. And so it was just a wonderful opportunity. The men, while they're there, they're required to do until they start full time. They're required to do 15 hours of community service a week, and then once they start full time, they're still required to do 5 hours a week. And it goes back to giving back, and it's something that's a principle we teach, and we just have to do, I believe. And so after that 2 weeks, men can go to work full time. We have one that was actually hired through to work down there. During that time, while they're at the house, there is no cost to live there. It's absolutely completely free. When they start to work full time, they keep their paycheck, every penny of it, the whole time. I've seen men that came in with one shoe and leave with $6,000-$7,000 in the vehicle. It happened. It's more to set them up for. So we basically provide everything while they're there.
Okay, so you're providing all this for them for free, but that stuff costs money. So how is the Joshua House funded? Where do the funds come from to provide such great the community support, the growth, the housing, the food, all these things? Housing fund.
God's been really good.
So God just wrote a check every week. God writes the check and sends it to Donald Wayne.
We are so blessed in this community. We have numerous churches contribute on a monthly, quarterly basis, yearly basis. We have just an overwhelming support from a lot of the community individuals, anywhere to that. PayPal is $50, $100 a month, down to less than that to more than that. Our biggest, what funds us about 70%, about 50 to 75% of our budget is our wild game dinner that's coming up on the 1st. And it's our major fundraiser. Without it, I don't know if we can keep our doors open.
Okay.
It's a wonderful event. We do it at the Methodist Church in Kingsland at June 1st. We have wild game barbecue. Lots of guns it's a live auction that's auctioned off. Band, live music, silent auction, raffle items. We also have a large pull behind smoker that we're raffling off. It's a wonderful event, man. I'd love to get more people there.
Good. So yes, we'll put all the information for that if you guys get a chance. Obviously, you can buy tables for your company. There's still opportunities to give that way. I was blessed to be able to donate some training from our studio board. You can have anything that you guys have in regards to just write checks, donate. You can do it online, but also coming in, like I said, if you want to be involved with it even further, that is the 7th annual Wild Game Dinner. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm a city boy as much as they come. So I don't know nothing about hunting. I don't know, but David Clendenin and Adam Wayne can show me some things on how to be more cowboyish because I'm as city as they come. But no matter what, it's great fun. I can learn how to use the smoker, and I guess I can teach you how to do that too. So tell us about the event. How can I get involved with this event coming up?
So we have flyers here. You can go to our Facebook page, Is Joshua House, or website. Contact me directly or Scooter. We'll see if get Calvin maybe post a flyer and his thing. Our Facebook page has all the information on there. I'm available anytime. My number's on the flyer, as well as Scooter Sanders, president of our board. He's also head of the Wild Game Committee. He's one that just works tirelessly year after year that does the work to put this thing together. He's amazing doing these type of things.
Awesome. So you can get a ticket. It's for $25. It includes the dinner, live music, door prizes, raffles, and it's silent auctions, all the things like that going on too as well. But you can also be a donor. There's like different packages from $250 to $1,000 as far as being a donor as well. You got time to do that. And once again, you can get a ticket to be involved with that. And that's going to be June 1st from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. coming up here. And that's going to be at the Highland Lakes United Methodist Church. So would love to support any form of fashion that you guys can. Like I said, that's one of the biggest events that they come up. But if you're not able to do that, you can always go to the website and donate in some form of fashion there. But yeah, so outside of that, during the year, I'm guessing there's other folks outside of your event. Folks can donate anytime.
Absolutely. There's a link on our website to donate on. And, we're outside of the financial support. We can always just, prayers for our house. And we have lots of people from the community that like to come in and volunteer and do Bible study with the moons in the morning. If you're early riser, we're 6:30. We're at the prayer meditation table at 6:30 in the morning. If you're interested in being involved with the men and leading Bible study, just getting to know them, we welcome all of that. It's a financial thing, but with all the money in the world, without the spiritual connection, we're still broke. At the end of the day,
that's the true definition of wealth. Is yes, finances, but spiritual health, your financial, physical. Having two shoes, not just one shoe. Yeah. It's kind of helpful to have. You can create some problems with just one shoe itself too, as well. But and so I got to know you through the Recovery Church. Coming out there. So Paul is several times a year and speak to the Recovery Church out in Queensland. So how you guys associated with that?
So we attended. It's on Thursday evenings. We encourage our men to go to that. It's a really neat process. It's more of a way more casual, laid back, comfortable type setting. Especially starting out. I was walking into a big church was frightening to me. Just you live like I have, for 20 years, walking into a place like a church. It just honestly it wasn't pleasant for me. There was just so much inside fear and a sense of not belonging. That the Recovery Church, it was my start to get into a church on Sunday. It really was. It's kind of bridged the gap for me.
Right. It's good. Like I said, it's definitely casual. They let me come in there and talk to them. I guess they all to trust me for some reason. I don't know how to come talk to the people or whatever it is. But no, it's always great. It's always great. You can relate to groups because we all have past, we have certain things. None of us are so different or above or below other individuals. everyone has their things and their stories, and I think we can all relate in a way, especially coming under the Holy Spirit in the situations and settings itself. So, well, this has been amazing. Hopefully, you guys come out and support and see what's going on at the Joshua House, his Joshua House out there. So, if you want more information about, you can reach out. I'll make sure we put stuff, things, links, whatever it is we need to do to get where you guys can get access to that. Come out and support on June 1st. If you're from afar, you feel led and compelled to help these men in this program, because obviously it sounds like we need a bigger facility or a second facility or whatever it is, because the waiting list of men who are struggling, they could benefit in the same way that Wayne and so many men have gone through that facility stuff too. So, any last words or anything?
No, I just appreciate the opportunity to get in here and spread the word about us. And, I'm grateful for the opportunity, Calvin.
Brother, appreciate it. All right, guys, support. Obviously, in your prayers, with your cards and monies and time, and whatever you feel led by God to contribute and help with this great community entity and organization that does really things in this community and beyond. Love you guys. God bless. Go hard. Peace.